Remember always, shoot safely and be respectful of the land and the people using it. Once you have hiked to your area and hope to shoot, and have scanned to make sure that the trails, roads, homes, and other recreationists are at least 150 yards away, you can start to set up for shooting. Setting up your area could include flagging off your designated shooting lanes, checking your backstop, setting a shooting line that all persons will stand behind, checking the area once more for any people potentially moving through, checking your firearms and other equipment, and setting your targets.
A couple safety things before we unpack the gun. The first thing we want to make sure is whenever we have the gun out, we want to make sure that the muzzle is always pointed down range. This is our range, so it never goes outside of that. Also, we want to make sure that we are sure of our target and beyond. We've already checked our 150 yards plus, but we want to make sure nobody else comes into that field of view. Next thing is you never point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. And always make sure you keep your finger off the trigger and outside the trigger guard until you're ready to shoot. Okay, does that make sense?
I think I got all that.
Okay.
To ensure a safe, dispersed shooting, shooters should behave as though they are following the rules at a shooting range. This means that shooters should line up all shooters on parallel lines on a designated firing line with a reasonable amount of space between each shooter. Always be sure to have shooters aiming in the same direction. Announce that shooting is about to begin by yelling something like, "Line hot," or "shooting." After a round of shots, shooters must be sure that their weapons are unloaded before checking their targets. Announce that shooting has stopped by yelling, "Line cold," or "Cease fire." This should happen before crossing the line of fire to view targets. As previously mentioned, be sure to know what is beyond your backstop and always remember to be a responsible shooter, which includes not just safety, but being a good steward of the land as well.
Let's just make sure that everything is safe on this gun before we walk down range. So we'll visually look in the chamber and make sure that the magazine's not in there. You just want to double check for me? All right, we'll leave it there and let's go check out see how we did.
Shooters can carry unloaded firearms pointed at the ground to check targets for accuracy as well as any other damage. Damaged or loose targets should be removed or replaced. Shooters should not reload firearms until all people have returned behind the designated firing line. This sequence can be repeated until the shooting session is over. It is recommended that the surrounding area be rechecked for other recreationists throughout the session. Learn about stewardship and best practices in our next video, Safety and Respect.